Have you ever thought about using 3D printing technology in your clinical practice? In this video, you will learn about the benefits of 3D printing in your clinical practice and how 3D printing can improve your client's functional performance and overall quality of life. Can you print assistive devices at a very low cost? The answer is yes. One of the benefits of 3D printing is cost effectiveness. Studies show that you can print assistive devices at a low cost than off-the-shelf assistive devices. For example, after you complete a clinical assessment on your clients, you determine that they will benefit from a read and write guide assistive device. Do you know that the average cost to print a read and write guide assistive device using a 3D printer is 12 cents, whereas the average cost of off-the-shelf read and write guide is $4.59. The significant difference in the cost of this assistive device can increase your client's access to care and reduce their financial burden. At the same time, it can significantly reduce how much your clinical practice spends on the procurement of off-the-shelf assistive devices. Another benefit of 3D printed objects is that they can be customized. One of the benefits of 3D printing filaments is that some of them are thermoplastic in nature, which makes them pliable when heated and solid after cooling. These characteristics of these printing filaments allows you as a clinician to adjust assistive devices according to your client's needs. For example, you printed a resting hand splints using a 3D printer for your clients during one of their sessions with you. At the next session, you noticed that the client has developed an increase in swelling in their affected hand, and the splint no longer fits well. If you use a printing filament that is flexible in nature during the fabrication process of the splint, you can adjust the splint using a heating gun or other source of heat. Please check out the video where I discussed the characteristics of printing filaments for you to know the appropriate filament to use when printing an assistive devices. Do you know that 3D printing is time-saving? As a clinician, you wish to spend more time with your clients, but time works against you in clinical practice. One of the benefits of using 3D printers to print assistive devices in clinical practice is that after setting up the printer to print an assistive device, you don't need to stay with the printer throughout the printing process, which allows you to engage your clients in other interventions while the assistive device is printing. Also, the use of a 3D printer in your clinical practice can significantly reduce how long your client needs to wait before using the assistive device. Let us use the read and write guide assistive device we discussed earlier as an example. Do you know that the average time to print this device using a 3D printer is just 10 minutes compared to the average shipping time of 1 to 2 business days for a commercially made read and write guide to arrive at your clinical practice? This means your client can start using their device as soon as possible, which could facilitate immediate engagement in, day out functional activities. These are some of the many benefits of using a 3D printer in your clinical practice. Thank you for your time, and please make sure to check out my other videos on 3D printing.